Thanks, Brian. Now I'm the poor sod that's got to speak now, Fruit. Look, thanks everybody for coming and supporting my brother Steve on what is an incredible achievement. The launch of his first book, More Than A Conqueror. It's been a very exciting week, and it's certainly been a busy week. I personally had a bigger list than an Italian cruise liner. Long as Christian's here, I've got to keep them clean. I have to admit that I was getting a bit concerned last week. It was Thursday and the book still hadn't arrived. And you can't really have a book launch without a book. I had visions of it just being a virtual launch. So I'd like to start by giving Steve my heartfelt congratulations on the publication of this book, a truly great achievement. They say that writing a book is a bit like giving birth. That's what Brian was talking about earlier. And witnessing it from the sideline, I have to agree. The first bit was a whole lot of fun. Passion and emotion and enthusiasm. And then the hard work begins. The morning sickness as you struggle with the photos and the layouts, the grammar and the typesetting, the mistakes, and then the project swells out of all proportion as you deal with the editors, printers, binders. But finally, here we are at the birth. There was Steve on Friday when the book arrived, like an expectant father leafing through, checking to see if his newborn had 6 toes or 2 heads. Or was that me, the expected uncle? Now, of course, the anxiety has turned to pride. When, much like Steve's first birthing experience when Rachel was born, the result is absolutely perfect and beautiful. Not surprisingly, the book More Than A Conqueror, being an autobiography, is a collection of stories about Steve's life. But more than that, it's a collection of stories about people, the people that have touched his life and have been an important part of it. Also, not surprisingly, many of the people are here in this room. Sadly, some of them are not. The stories start when we were very young, like when we lived in Cyprus with the Royal Air Force. We were playing and our ball went into a local's garden. Not being too familiar with the local protocol, we charged into the garden to get the ball, only to be confronted by this maniac yelling and screaming. He grabbed Steve, threatening to cut his ears off. I didn't stop to negotiate. I did a runner. I was the brains of the outfit. And got our dad Sid, who subtly encouraged the guy to change his mind with a .38 caliber Webley and Scott revolver. They often have that effect. Of course, there is also the story of our dad's near-fatal accident with the exploding bomb detonators that most of you that know us would be familiar with. And the stories of our wonderful childhood in the Lincolnshire Fens and of our beautiful Tudor house where we lived. Our exploits and adventures, like when we went shooting one time, and I kind of accidentally shot Steve in the leg. We were way too scared to tell Dad, so Steve limped around for a week or 3 before Dad realised and rushed him to hospital with suspected septicemia. There's stories of mateship and brotherhood, particularly at our dysfunctional school at Branston. The school system in England really did let us down. There were many times that Steve flattened the school bully for hassling me. And you wouldn't think it now, to look at him, but he actually put one of them through the school greenhouse windows, protecting me one day. The story changed dramatically when Steve set out on the adventure of his life, and at the age of 16 he left for Australia on his own. I joined the Brill Cream Boys, that's what they affectionately called the Royal Air Force. The whole family was split up at the time, but after a few years, we all decided to emigrate. And so, from Steve's adventures working in the bush, to our family reunion, our painting and decorating business in Mossman, and the various jobs that Steve had at Roche, and then the Garvan Institute. The story continued to develop when we got together in business and started Bembro 26 years ago last month. That was a tough year, to say the least. It was also the year that Dad died. But nevertheless, the stories remain positive, with our success with the inclusion of people with disability, the Prime Minister's Awards, and the Order of Australia. But much more than that, the absolute pride in our products and our admiration of our amazing and incredible staff, who have nearly all had to overcome some monumental challenges, some as a result of disability, some as a result of experience, and others just because they had to put up with the two of us. I've been known to write a bit of poetry, and in honour of the friendship and partnership and love between Steve and I've written a poem for him. It's my first published poem. It's in his book. And it's called Me Bruvver. We've stuck it out together in excess of 50 years, going back to when the psycho took the scissors to your ears. Fortunately for both of us, I took the chance to run. Then he reconsidered quickly, facing Sydney's loaded gun. The years of childhood freedom in the fens round Tudor House, where we frequently went shooting for a lurking rattle mouse. It was honestly an accident. You hid the limp so well, and in order to protect me, you were never going to tell. But the festering was rancid from the bullet by week 3. If the old man hadn't seen it, we'd be off below the knee. As a small bloke, bullies almost seemed to form an endless queue. But they never seemed so eager when they noticed you. I remember someone crashing through the greenhouse back at school. Always help each other. That's the Bennett's golden rule. We sought fortune and adventure. Our paths took a different course. You went to Australia, and I went with the force. I used to love receiving letters, Brill Cream Boy, the addressee, from another distant planet. At least that's how it seemed to me. It wasn't long, however, till we sailed in through the heads. It was wonderful to see the tar boy from the shearing sheds. There was the gun shop in the city, and you had a job or two. We helped Dad repainting Mossman, from Balmoral to the zoo. There was Roche, and then the Garvan, and I took a techo-tack, till we finally started Bembro. We were never looking back. We named the company Bembro, brought a tear to old Sid's eye. The hardest year we've ever had, so sure he wouldn't die. A tragedy he never saw the things that it became. The money man, the engineer, the team, the product, Mum. At Bembro's quarter century, yes, survival's still a quest, but we never yield. We stick it out. We give each day our best. EMAD was a vision just to try to set things right. We knew changing national culture was sure going to be a fight. We met with CEOs and ministers to try to make things clear, but the Branston boys just had to smirk to get John Howard's ear. I'm really proud of what we've done. We've had our share of gems with our 4 PMs, the Hall of Fame, a brace of OAMs, but they lack real significance when stacked up to compare with seeing things rejected men have made with skill and care. Seeing images of miners being rescued with that gear, or the challenge of aphasia, then a smile from ear to ear. We've stuck it out together in excess of 50 years. We've been in and out of trouble, we've had joyous times and tears. Ever since the Scissor Man, we've never turned to run, because facing things together is the way we get things done. So thanks, Steve, for sticking with me And congratulations, truly an amazing achievement.